Yet for all our technological prowess, what do we get in return? We get cities that are becoming unbearable heat islands during the summer. Concrete jungles that flood with the slightest downpour, and environments so polluted that the very air we breathe can make us sick. Despite having computers, advanced materials, and incredible construction machinery, our cities are, in many fundamental ways, failing us. They are shockingly energy inefficient. They are overcrowded and stressful. And they are profoundly destructive to the natural world they depend on. So this begs the question: how did ancient civilizations, without a single watt of electricity or a single internal combustion engine, let's fire up our time machine and travel back, way back. Our first stop is the Indus Valley, over 4,000 years ago. Here, in cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, we find something truly astonishing. These weren't primitive villages. They were meticulously planned urban centers. Imagine a city laid out on a perfect grid system, making navigation intuitive and organized. Now, picture every single house, rich or poor, connected to a sophisticated citywide drainage system, complete with covered sewer lines and manholes for maintenance. They had private bathrooms and systems for recycling water. This level of public sanitation and urban planning was unheard of for its time. In fact, it was so advanced that many cities in the world would unsee anything comparable until the Roman Empire, 2,000 years later. And even today, countless modern urban areas across the globe still struggle with basic sanitation and flood management that the Harappans had mastered from millennia ago. It's both humbling and a little bit shocking. Now, let us journey forward in time and westward to one of the most famous ancient empires of all, Rome. When we think of Rome, we think of gladiators and emperors, but it's true. Lasting legacy is etched in stone and water. The Romans were the undisputed masters of civil engineering. This wasn't just for drinking. This water fed the famous public baths, the thermae, which were not just places to get clean, but complex social centers. They were layered with stone, gravel, and sand, designed to last for centuries and withstand legions of marching soldiers. In fact, parts of the Appian Way and other Roman infrastructure are still in use today, a silent testament to a building philosophy that valued permanence over short-term convenience. So what was their secret? What did these ancient cultures know that we've seemingly forgotten? The answer is beautifully simple. They didn't see themselves as separate from nature. They didn't try to conquer it. They worked in harmony with it. They built sprawling cities like Tikal and Karakol in a challenging rainforest environment, how by becoming masters of water management. Here, engineers invented one of the most ingenious and sustainable technologies of the ancient world, the kanat. Because the water flowed underground, it was protected from evaporation in the hot, dry climate. But that's not all. This system also created a form of natural air conditioning. Special vertical shafts, called wind catchers, would be built over the kanats. The wind would be funneled down the shaft, pass over the cool water underground, and then be drawn up into the buildings above, providing a constant, refreshing breeze. It was a passive cooling system that worked for centuries, powered only by the wind and clever design. These were not happy accidents. These were sophisticated, intentional systems born from a deep understanding of the local environment. Now, you might be thinking, this is all fascinating history, but what does it have to do with our 21st century smart cities? Well, here's the twist. The smartest people in the room are starting to realize that the future of urban design might actually be ancient. When you see a modern skyscraper with a lush green roof, you're re-looking at a modern interpretation of the ancient hanging gardens of Babylon or the terraced agriculture of the Incas. When you hear about passive cooling and natural ventilation in new eco-friendly buildings, you're hearing the echo of Persian wind catchers and the open courtyards of Roman villas. The entire modern movement towards walkable mixed-use neighborhoods with shops, homes, and public spaces all close together. The blueprint for a better, more sustainable future isn't lost in some far-off high-tech utopia. It's right here, buried in our own history, written in stone, water, and earth by people who lived thousands of years ago. We just need to be wise enough to read it. It seems that perhaps the greatest innovation we can achieve isn't inventing something entirely new, but finally remembering the profound and timeless knowledge that we, as a species, once knew. That way, you'll be the first to know when we unearth our next big story.